33 days, 33 episodes, no off switch. From the goals and the glory to the politics and the problems of the World Cup. If you want soccer analysis from a podcast that's been over-analysing the game for more than 20 years, then this is it. Join me, Max Rushton, and our expert team of soccer journalists every day of the tournament. Can England end 60 years of hurt, or will this be another year of falling just short? Probably. World Cup Daily. Listen wherever you get your podcasts or watch full episodes on YouTube.
Roger Stone, if you were here, I know you would have brought an assortment, but Roger, we're talking about a bunch of things, but I thought, I think for you, the best topic right now is the socialist takeover of the Democrat Party, and we're seeing it up close here in New York, but you see it all over the country, don't you?
Well, first of all, let me say that I heard Greg Kelly's got a side gig going hanging meat there in the 77 WABC studio. But, it gives him a chance to wear those heavier jackets that he prefers. So Anyway, he is, as you know, for many years on my international best dressed list. The Democrat Party is even more screwed up than the Republican Party today. The term moderate Democrat, that's an oxymoron. And yesterday was particularly entertaining to watch the dedication of the Barack Obama Presidential Library, which, as you know, Jake, was meant to be a great economic engine and a great monument to DEI policies. Turns out they stiffed all of the black tradesmen, skilled laborers, construction companies, and all the folks that built the place. They're now settled. They're begging to settle for pennies on the dollar. It's kind of it's a symbol, I guess, of the larger bankruptcy of the Democrat Party.
Judge Weinberg, you had an interesting statistic you were just telling us during the break about how many people in each party still love America.
Good morning, Roger. And this comes from CNN. CNN said in 2001, you had 90% of Republicans loved America, and 80% of the Democrats did. Today, it was 25 years later, you have 90% of Republicans still love America. Only 29% of the Democrats do. And that's an awful, awful statistic. What are your thoughts, Roger?
I remember growing up, John Kennedy was president. My parents spoke of Harry Truman, who they kind of liked since they were Republicans. But both parties believed in capitalism. Both parties believed in free enterprise. Both parties believed in the flag. Both parties believed in a strong national defense. I'm thinking about Democrats like Henry Scoop Jackson, Daniel Patrick Moynihan. These guys weren't radicals. They may have been liberals, but they still loved America and they loved the fundamentals of the country. That kind of Democrat exists nowhere in the country. And to the extent that you have professional politicians like Gavin Newsom or J.D. Pritzker, they have to kowtow to the radical left. They have to move over there to have any chance of upward mobility within their party. It's hard to recognize today's Democrat Party. It's not the Democrat Party of your grandfather. That's for sure.
The big mistake, in my opinion, was when they allowed Bernie Sanders to run against Hillary Clinton in the presidential sweepstakes. He's never been a Democrat. He was always a socialist or a so-called independent. They allowed him in. They legitimized him. They should have kept him out entirely because he was never, just because he caucused with the Democrats in the Senate, there's no reason to let him go into the presidential sweepstakes. Your thoughts?
And Judge, they had to cheat, and they had to cheat to stop him from winning.
Exactly.
They had to rig the rules so that he didn't get nominated. So here's a guy who's not even a Democrat the year before, becomes a Democrat for purposes of pursuing the nomination. Hillary Clinton, who had much deeper roots in the party and the experience of her husband's two presidential campaigns, she had to bend the rules and cheat to beat him. Fast forward to Robert Kennedy Jr. tries to challenge Joe Biden. They canceled the Iowa caucuses. They canceled the New Hampshire primary. They never even give the guys a Kennedy, for God's sakes. That's party royalty. They never give him a shot. No, the Democrat Party is rigged as well as out of the mainstream. How they expect to win a national election, I really don't know.
Well, we have a crime situation, Roger, your expertise on the Nixon campaigns and how law and order became so central to Nixon's 68 campaign. And now you have Democrats all over the country, especially here in New York, boasting about how they want to empty the prisons, defund the police. But this is more than just a slogan. I mean, they're really doing it, and they're fighting law and order. This is a big part of their fight against ICE. It's not just about open borders. It's about the fact they want these people who should be in prison to be free on the streets. How is this possibly polling well, even among the radical voters? I don't even understand how anyone could vote for this.
Now you combine that with their advocacy for transgenderism, which is completely and totally different than questions regarding, gays and lesbians. This is a completely different issue that appeals to maybe 3% of the populace. Between their soft on crime policies, their high tax policies, and this manic advocacy of the use of taxpayer dollars to transgender our children, I just don't see where they think there's a constituency, certainly among old-time Democrats, working-class Democrats. I don't see where they believe there's a constituency for those things.
Do they care? I mean, maybe that's the thing. Maybe they know, after what we've seen in Los Angeles and also in the statewide election in California, maybe they don't think they need to cater to the voters anymore because they can steal elections, at least in these blue states and cities.
Why do you think they want to abolish the Electoral College? Because they think that the consolidation of power in the cities will get them the popular vote. Mm-hmm. So you'll have a few states that will govern the future of the country, and everybody else is included out, as Samuel Goldwyn would have said.
Exactly right. And it puts a premium on stealing.
Exactly.
It puts an absolute premium in the urban areas. So maybe that's their thinking, that we don't have to put forward common sense or even palatable policies because we're not going to get an honest count. If you watch the situation in Los Angeles, it's extraordinary. I mean, I've talked in the last couple of days and this weekend on my show, I'm going to talk to a mathematician. The fact that the woman who was a city council member, who was running third all night, who conceded on election night, now suddenly, after the polls closed, the day after the election, we found several 100,000 new ballots and 85% of them are for her. Who could possibly believe this nonsense?
We have that tape when I interviewed the Attorney General of Los Angeles. And maybe if we have time, we'll play it in the 9 o'clock hour.
Yeah, we should.
He's a U.S. attorney.
The U.S. attorney, right? But Roger Stone, it's Juneteenth, and you alluded to it a little bit before, and how the symbolism of the fact that this Obama library was built by so many minority-owned, black-owned businesses who have been stiffed, still haven't paid. I actually heard from one who is $4 million in the red, a small company. He can't recover from that. And this Democrat socialism, this radical Democrat anti-law and order thing, black people are 12 times more likely to be victims of crime than white people. And the black voters want law and order more than anyone. And this is their choice. They got to vote for someone like Darlisa Chevalier in New York or Mamdani, these people who are going to unleash these thugs back into their neighborhoods to attack them. They're not going to go to Park Avenue, Roger. They're not going to Fifth Avenue. They're attacking them in Harlem and Bed-Stuy.
That's why you saw incremental but still meaningful increases among African-American voters for Donald Trump in the last presidential election. We hit all-time highs. Now, you can say, okay, so you got, take your pick, 21, 23% of the vote. It's a big difference between 15 and 23. Enough to swing a state like Michigan, enough to swing a state like Wisconsin, enough to swing a state like Pennsylvania. I think that's going to continue as you have a more prosperous, more upwardly mobile black middle class. They have the same desires as all Americans. They want good schools, they want safe neighborhoods, they want job opportunities, they want low food prices, they want low gas prices. They're not different than anyone else. And the Democrats have always continued to treat them as a constituency who would vote for them no matter what they ever did for them, which was by and large, pretty much nothing.
George Venizelos, what do you have to say?
Another part of the formula they figured out is they put in these radical DAs in these big cities to help their cause and be soft on crime. I mean, it's killing New York, it's killing LA, it's killing Chicago, Philadelphia. These DAs are awful, and they're the ones responsible for taking care of the street crime. The district attorneys, and that's they figured that out, and it's scary what's happening. They're destroying our cities, our big cities, and just for their cause to show that democracy doesn't work.
Well, this was a developed plan. This is not coincidental. Yeah. They knew exactly what they were doing. They understood it was easier to win a local DA's race than win a whole city council or a whole state legislature. So they did it step by step by step.
Step by step by step. They did it. I remember they did it in Philadelphia. They did it step by step. And every time a regular Democrat would object to what's going on, they all went in and attacked that person.
And I forget his name right now, but you had
the guy in Westchester. What was his name?
No, Albany. The DA of Albany opposed all these get out of jail free so-called reforms. And they beat him in the primary. Yeah. They beat him in the primary. Oh, by the way, the money that, Roger, I want to get your thoughts on this. The money that's moving, for example, in these races in New York State for the congressional races, it's overwhelmingly something like 70 or 80% of the money that's funding these races is coming out of state. What are your thoughts about that?
Jake and I talked about this last night, as a matter of fact, on the Stone Zone. You got foreign money, or at least illegal money, flooding into these races through the Payment Processor Act Blue. These aren't even contributions from real people. Or if they are, the contributions didn't come from the people who are listed in the reports as having given them. So, for example, Marco Rubio runs for re-election to the Senate in the last cycle in Florida. He works very hard. He raises $10 million for his re-election, which is, for an incumbent senator, pretty good. But Val Demings, a black congresswoman from Orlando who no one has ever heard of, she brings in $26 million, of which 86% of it came through Act Blue in multiple small contributions.
It's a scam.
Does anyone in their right mind really believe that that's even possible? And then, of course, when journalists like James O'Keefe and others go knock on the doors of these putative donors, they have no idea what you're talking about. They didn't give any money.
I'll tell you something, Roger. I'm going to give you a feeling I have. The Biden administration taking oil money up to $100 a barrel. That oil money gets recycled and into those races. And it's a cost of doing business. In other words, if they can make an extra $1 billion in oil money, they'll spend $100 million in politics.
And launder it through Act Blue. Roger Stone, thank you so much for joining us. We got to take a break.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?